What's up, fellow traders? Sunday night, big week this week. Do or die for bulls and shorts. It's anybody's game right here. For all the perma bulls, you got what you wanted. You're at the top. You're maxed. You are peaked. For us looking for the pullback, we'll see how big it's gonna be. It's amazing how far we've come in the market right now. I do read a lot of books. I have read a lot of books. And boy, man, I've questioned, was that dip down from November to March, actually from January to March, was that like the 1907? You've been hearing people talk about that, but I just wasn't a believer in that panic dip, only because things are different right now. I do want to look out 30, 40, 50 years, and that's why I couldn't just, when I was pretty much all in at the bottom, I couldn't just let it ride all the way up to this point. I think there's more behind the scenes going on here, things that happened in 2 and 3 days in 1907, because everything was right there in New York. Pink sheets were on the curb. By morning to night is now, because now it's the world. Even though it was the world then too, it's way more intertwined now, I believe. But as far as a technical point, we're definitely peaked. We've made the all-out run. The farthest looking run you could have made off the bottom. And this week's do or die, like I said, for bulls and bears. Check this out. What I got up here is the Dow, the 3-year weekly. And I know everybody's looking at this, bam, we're there. Okay, the 2 top peaks. Okay, we're on a pretty significant double nut there at the beginning of 07 on our first. Look at that week down right there, before they fluffed it up and then fluffed it to new highs. And remember that, because remember, they were already talking recession started, breakdown, massive bubble, and look how they peaked us. Okay, so they're good at doing that. We got this double nut right here where we're on right now, and I don't follow this Fibonacci and all that stuff, but I've been reading, and it I've talked about, seems like there's a power above that makes everything kind of happen. Now I'm seeing everybody's got this 50% Fibonacci deals like right now, also on this double nut. This trend line I put in here because this is a significant one. As you can see, we dinked it twice, and that was our dink right there, your last chance to get in. Right there at like 8,000, 8,100, boom, nice run, over 2,000 point run. I like this line, it means something. That's why I have that one in here tonight. This right here is our November low, our weekly write-off of our little first consolidation at the top of this run before our first 4-week sell-off here. This is our new support for our uptrend. You can see how every week we dinked it, then we went off it, we dinked it, we went off it, then we dinked it, and we went off it again. And here we are on this double nut. This is the one that's got to break. Like if we go through this double nut, they're going to bring us to 11.5 right here. I'm not going to believe it. Will I still have capital? Yeah, I will. Believe it or not. It's pretty amazing. I made a comment about shares, and it's something everybody's got to remember, that they are worthless pieces of paper. I've been trading for a long time. I've traded companies. I bought them at 9, rode them to 30, seen them go down to 1, bought them at 1, rode them to 4. Next thing I know, they're 10 cents. And they're gone, and you can still go to their websites. They're still operating, just like GM, and that's, you really got to watch yourself in this big consolidation period, because that is what happened. And if you read those books back in from the 1903 to 1907, you'll know what I'm talking about, when they were just consolidating all these huge companies when they made United Steel in 1903. I'm going to close this out with the S&P, because I want to show you something. Look at off our November lows right here where we battled. Look how we're above that on the Dow. And I really like to follow the Dow. Like I said, I don't look at everything too deep, because you can confuse yourself. See? Like you read enough of this other stuff to work in with what you're looking at. I'm telling you. Now I'm going to pull up the S&P. Come off the November. I'll cross this consolidation here. And look at the difference from the Dow. The S&P's underneath, battling it. Okay, so they could actually stretch the S&P up a little bit on us there if you look at that one. But same scenario. Boom. Okay, on the big dog. And a little more prominent on the S&P here. Remember how I pick my lines because over the time you can see how significant they are by, this is a big one. This is do or die for the S&P here. This is it, this week. Okay, they could float it into next week. My call is it's going down from here. Even if it's just a little peedly 1 week, 2 week pullback, it's definitely going to have a little break right now. And then we'll see where we end up. This is what's funny on the S&P is we had this one test, which didn't test on the Dow. See right here? Big box forming here. Maybe there's somebody can tell us what's going on. Major things going on right here in the S&P. As the market starts to break down, it's going to get interesting to see how far they push this down. I think everybody's got it wrong. This falling dollar's good for the market. Boy, I got a lot to learn. Good luck.